Let's get to money, power, and politics. As we mentioned, Donald Trump has officially picked former Congressman Sean Duffy to head the Transportation Department. And Bloomberg's reporting easing rules around self-driving cars will be one of its top priorities. Quote, if new rules enable wider deployment of cars without human controls, it will directly benefit, you guessed it, Elon Musk. Once again, the Tesla CEO's $130 million bet on a second Trump term seems to be paying off in a big, big way. So let's discuss with our experts. Peter Spiegel is here, U.S. managing editor for the Financial Times, and Peter Goodman, global economics correspondent for the New York Times and author of How the World Ran Out of Everything Inside the Global Supply Chain. All right. It seems like everything is a win for Elon Musk these days, and it seems like he and Donald Trump are in lockstep. But 50-50 partners, at least in business, never, ever work out. In marriage, they work out less than 50% of the time. Who's the boss?
Well, we've seen a little bit of that come out in the last 24 hours, right? We've seen Elon Musk insert himself into the search for Treasury Secretary, angered a lot of people around Donald Trump. So I'm not sure you talked about this last week. How do two people who want to be the center of attention all the time coexist? Thus far, we have seen in policy areas, Musk is getting his money's worth, right? This is a transactional administration. We remember this from last time around. Trump just doesn't do policy, just transactions. So not only is he getting the car that you talked about, you're going to cut all the EV subsidies to his competitors. He's getting stuff on crypto. I mean, everything.
Cutting EV subsidies to his competitors.
Well, I mean, basically, Tesla, in fairness, is a properly run business. Most of the competitors that are trying to compete with Tesla need these subsidies.
Because they're losing money.
So Trump is going to cut those subsidies. The winner will be Tesla. Almost every single thing that Musk is trying to do will be helped by Trump. SpaceX. He's already trying to put his people into the Pentagon to get contracts for the military with SpaceX. So he's getting his money's worth here. But as you said, the question is, how long is this going to last? There are a lot of people who work for Trump for a long time who also want to be on that money train, who are getting quite angry that this Johnny-come-lately is getting to say on personnel decisions. Again, we get back to this Treasury decision. We'll see how that plays out. He wants Howard Lutnick. He's gone public on this, caused a huge firestorm within the transition team. So he's getting what he wants from a policy perspective, but is he going to overstay his welcome? This was never going to last. We always knew this was going to end badly.
Let's talk about this Treasury Secretary pick, because Elon Musk, Howard Lutnick is a slick, fast mover, extraordinary businessman, amazing salesman.
Right.
But he definitely is not a traditional Treasury Secretary.
Right.
Elon Musk likes that because he wants everything to blow up and shake it up. But when you talk to people in the investment community, Wall Street Journal just had an op-ed about it today. They want slow and steady. The Treasury Department is the one place that doesn't want or need a shakeup. What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, the Treasury Secretary is the most difficult job on some level in any Trump administration because, it's one thing to take people who have no experience in health care and put them in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services, or even people who have limited experience in military affairs other than marching in war in charge of the Pentagon. If you talk about Treasury, just the fact that Trump wants people who have experience in finance tells you that this is a little bit different. This is something that Trump actually cares about. This is the tether to the world of money. And if you go ahead with your tariffs, if you go ahead with your non-traditional policy in terms of running other agencies of the government, that's all good and well. If you take the stock market, that's going to be a problem. And so whoever's in this seat is going to immediately be caught in this kind of culture war. And it's not really a culture war.
Yeah, but it's not just the stock market, which is doing so well. You now have worrying signs in the bond market. And the bond market is the quiet daddy that shuts this whole party down.
I mean, this is where inflation comes back, right? So, here's a president who is coming back because of the nation's unhappiness over inflation. And the Treasury Secretary is the guy who's got to say, along with the Fed chair, who's supposed to be independent, maybe we got to tap the brakes on some of these other parts of the program, or we're going to get inflation coming back. And the bond market is already looking at this program and saying,
yes, okay, so the bond market, just so you get this at home, right? So deregulation, the stock market loves it. Trump's pro-business, they're going to get tax cuts. The stock market loves it. The bond market is paying close attention to our deficits that are ballooning. And what the bond market is like that daddy who said, yeah, kids, you can have a party at the house. He sees the keg come in the back backyard. He's like, okay. He sees kids diving in the pool and throwing furniture in the pool. He's saying, fine. And now suddenly they're breaking all the furniture and everybody's in the bedrooms. And he is saying, get the hell out of my house. That is when the bond market calls and shuts this whole thing down. And he needs a Treasury Secretary who's paying attention to that.
And that's going to have knock-on effect on all of us, right? If Treasury, the important thing, which I think is hard for people to sometimes understand, because the Treasury market is so much bigger than the stock market.
Correct.
The Treasury Department says, are you going to pay your bills? That's all they want to do. If suddenly Trump is saying, I'm going to slap tariffs on, so slow the global economy, drive up my deficits, the Treasury market will say, you know what, I don't think you're going to pay your bills, so I'm going to charge you more money to pay bills.
Correct.
All of us then, if we try to refinance our mortgage, we try to pay our credit card bills, all those rates go in accordance to where Treasuries are. And I don't think people are realizing that. The Treasury market is getting very, very nervous about the direction of travel they see right now in the Trump administration. And again, as you pointed out, Peter, if we get a Howard Lutnick who doesn't quite understand the Treasuries market, what then
he's never
happens?
had to.
That's not his business, right? You get a Scott Bessent or something like that who played in those debt markets his entire life, understands the players, understands the traders. That is a little bit more.
Scott Bessent was trained by Stan Druckenmiller, maybe the greatest living investor today, who's never had a bad year, never had a down year ever.
But whoever gets this job as Treasury Secretary,
booby prize.
Their boss is a casino magnate who's gone bankrupt constantly. I mean, that's the reality of the remit.
Who walks away from bills.
Yeah, so good luck keeping everybody happy.
Okay, can we just talk quickly? There's talk that some of Trump's economic advisors are already talking about changes to food stamps and Medicaid and other safety net programs. What can you tell us?
Well, look, this is part of the, if you just happen to look at what Elon Musk wants to do, cut $2 trillion of the U.S. budget, right? Where do you start cutting? There is nowhere to cut to get that kind of number unless you start going after those kinds of social programs. Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps. So some of this discussion is, if you really want to go down that route, where are the big targets? You can't go after the Pentagon because Trump has, agreed to increase defense spending. What's left? And so this is, I think, in some ways, and Musk has said this, right? He has said there might be some short-term pain, right? Not for him.
Not for him.
Not for him and not for his, his fellow billionaires. But if they go down this path, you're going to see working class Americans get hit really hard. But I don't think even a Republican Congress that it owes its job to Donald Trump can do that politically. He has to get this through Congress. I can't see Republican senators, Republican House members who have a very narrow majority are going to vote for anything like this.
Well, I mean, Simpson Bowles put a plan together years ago, an actual plan. I'm not saying it was good or bad, but they actually put the work in, and it didn't happen. So these guys rolling up January 21st saying, we're slashing. Do they know how government actually operates?
If this movie sounds familiar, it's because you've seen it before. Yeah. This is trickle-down economics, folks. It's back. And here's how it
Kansas.
works.
It don't work.
There's lots of promises about how companies are going to spend more, invest more, they're going to innovate more. That part never happens. That part has worked out 0 times in history. But here's the part that does work. The tax cuts really happen, and the donor class gets all kinds of goodies. That reliably happens, and they're happy about it. And they bid stock prices up, and they contribute to campaigns. So that's why
it's
we're
awesome.
back here
You can build a bigger castle and put a moat around it, and then outside the moat, the city's just going to burn.